Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. Remember, stay tuned. Sorry about the delays. Stay tuned here. It's going to be the 23rd, 24th, 25th of January in Washington, D.C. We sincerely hope. Don't quite buy the airline tickets yet. I don't want anybody to be hurt by the process. The process is a little bit out of our control. We have modest means. You want to give a contribution to the Tax Wall Street Party, that would certainly speed things along. And I'll probably have some kind of a method on my website that you can contribute to this thing. But watch above all the Twitter feed, because that's where you're going to find out right away. Okay, so 100 primarily European ISIS dupes executed, killed, shot in the back by these crazies, by the caliph, by Caliph Ibrahim of the new caliphate. And they believed all that garbage, and now they're dead. But we say, fire Allen for Xmas. That's the way anybody can contribute to peace in the Middle East. Now, in the time, we're headed towards Epiphany, the Three Kings, again, the Holy Innocents. King Herod, we say Bandar is the new Herod in the Middle East. So, the other warmonger action. Sony and North Korea. Well, I hope you know what the story is on the U.S. North Korea gambit, right? The famous DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and they are used by the U.S. quite, I think, prominently. This is a means of keeping the Japanese and to some extent the Chinese and the Koreans in line by having these crises that are used to scare Japan, scare China, scare South Korea, scare Taiwan, scare the Philippines, scare Vietnam, scare Indonesia, scare everybody in the neighborhood. Whenever the U.S. feels that the imperialist discipline in the Far East is being eroded, time to pull the chain on the DPRK. Now, this is not just speculation. Let's go to a somewhat dubious news site, but still, gold is where you find it. The Daily Beast, British, very close to British intelligence. Exclusive. Sony emails say State Department blessed Kim Jong-un assassination in the interview. So, CEO of Sony, Michael Linton, L-Y-N-T-O-N, showed a rough cut of the movie to U.S. officials before moving ahead. Now hackers are threatening to bomb any theater. Well, we're just told Christmas this year will be dominated not by Mutalab, the underwear bomber, as in 2009, but it's going to be dominated by The Interview, because The Interview is going to be shown in selected theaters on Christmas Day, December 25th. This is already going by the time you hear me. So, the Daily Beast says they've got emails that show 2 U.S. government officials pre-screened a rough cut of the assassination sequence in The Interview, where you have a final scene where the dictator's head explodes. How about this? These are provocateurs. Act of war. Well, I guess in many ways it is an act of war. Now, forget about the guardians of the peace. This can be anything. This can be the CIA itself. This could be anybody you want. So here's the idea. The movie has been coordinated with the Rand Corporation. Isn't that interesting? Oop. I don't know. I don't want Rand. My God, it's giving me Rand Paul. No, I'm talking about the Rand Corporation. So the idea is that the coordination was 2 U.S. government officials pre-screened. The State Department was very much involved in it, as was the Rand Corporation, always according to the people here at the Daily Beast. Here we go. U.S. blessed. Let's see if I can find the Rand Corporation. This Daily Beast website quite jittery. Please, not this. Anyway, you get the idea. Let's go. We'll get it from the best way to get these things, as always, is my own Twitter feed. So the idea is simply that the U.S. government previewed the interview, and the State Department and the Rand Corporation had input into the production of the movie. So this is not freedom of the press. This is a provocation by intelligence agencies acting under the cover, the veil of Sony Pictures. Read it in the Daily Beast. William Boot is the guy who says this. Is that an act of war? Well, that's arguable. I hope won't be seen as war. But now this has been done. A series of leaked emails reveal that Sony enlisted the services of Bruce Bennett, a senior defense analyst at the Rand Corporation who specializes in North Korea. He consulted with them on the interview after he saw the film, including the gruesome ending where a giant missile hits Kim Jong-un's helicopter in slow motion as Katy Perry's Firework plays. Anybody's guess what that is. Kim's head catches on fire and explodes. Bennett gave his assessment of it in a June 25th email to Linton, just 5 days before 5 days after the North Korean threat. The North has never, and this is what he says, the North has never executed an artillery attack against the balloon launching areas, so it's very hard to tell what is pure bluster since they use active war so commonly. I thought a bunch more about the ending. I have to admit that the only resolution I can see to the North Korean nuclear and other threats is for the North Korean regime to eventually go away. So it's part of a destabilization strategy, if you will. And the target, however, primarily China, because we get all kinds of people, Gordon Chang of Forbes saying that internet connection goes to China. Back in a minute. Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So delving into this interesting article in the Daily Beast, inspired by British intelligence, perhaps. The story of how Sony turned to the State Department, the U.S. government, and the Rand Corporation. The Rand Corporation, of course, the old United States Strategic Bombing Survey, the Bland Corporation of Dr. Strangelove, you know, the drill. It is, if not the brain or the heart of the U.S. intelligence community, it's the liver or the stomach. It's a vital organ. So this guy, Bruce Bennett, after viewing the head explosion, he says, I have briefed my book on preparing for the possibility of a North Korean collapse. I have been clear that the assassination of Kim Jong-un is the most likely path to a collapse of the North Korean government. Thus, while toning down the ending may reduce the North Korean response, I believe that a story that talks about the removal of the Kim family and the creation of a new government by the North Korean people, and he says in Paris, well, at least by the elites. Yeah, right. Will start some real thinking in South Korea, I believe, in the North, once the DVD leaks into the North, which it almost certainly will. So from a personal perspective, I would personally, a radical subjectivist, he wants you to know, I would personally prefer to leave the ending alone. And this guy Linton writes back, Bruce, I spoke to someone very senior in the State Department today. He agreed with everything you have been saying. Well, it really does then look as if this piece of trash, right, this piece of garbage, right, the Goebbels style of a movie, that this was actually coordinated with the U.S. government. It's nothing to do with free speech. There's no First Amendment here. And what could it be? Well, I have to go back to my I made a communication to the Hollywoodism conference in Tehran at the beginning of 2012, in which I pointed this out, that the Santa Monica headquarters of the Rand Corporation are so close to Hollywood that it's just about impossible to imagine that there's not some kind of a symbiosis. And now we have, if we needed it, we now have proof positive that this is the case, right? So the Rand Corporation. Let me see if I can find you some quotes from this article of mine. I'll do that while we push on. Then the other angle, of course, is the Gordon Chang of Forbes magazine, and he's on TV saying, look, the internet connections of North Korea, DPRK, all go through China. So therefore, he says, those Chinese, they are complicit. They furnished the technology for this, right? This is all the Chinese, and therefore we've got to get rid of them. So, well, this is not good. And here we go. Here's what I write about in this, where did American movies come from? And I show this question of about 1,000 writers over a period of 2 to 3 years, perhaps 500 is an upper estimate, write these movies. How do some of these 500 or so top writers manage to incorporate terror scenarios into movies? Nobody knows for sure, but one institution of interest might be the Rand Corporation of Santa Monica, California, by the Pacific Ocean on the western edge of Los Angeles, and thus very close to Hollywood. It's the Strategic Bombing Survey. It became famous thanks to Herman Kahn with the world targets in megadeaths, Bland Corporation. Writing a recent account of Rand, or reviewing a recent account of Rand by Alex Abella, the Washington Post wrote, those who remember the Cold War will doubtless be familiar with the Rand Corporation, the think tank in sunny Santa Monica that Soviet propagandists branded as the Academy of Science and Death. And, then there is the case of Amy Pascal, currently co-chair of Sony Pictures Entertainment, a company which controls a substantial slice of Hollywood, including Columbia Pictures, Screen Gems, Sony Pictures Animation, TriStar Pictures. Amy Pascal has been the prime mover behind the cult movie The Da Vinci Code, which represents an attack on religion, specifically Christianity, from the point of view of atheism, paganism, or something worse. She restarted the Bond movies in 2005. Well, Amy Pascal, one of the top people in Washington, in Hollywood, has been on the board of the Rand Corporation. So how about that? Let's just check again exactly when. Let's just check the Amy Pascal. Amy Pascal, one of the bosses of Sony, has served on the board of trustees of the Rand Corporation in recent years. Oh my God! And this was written in January of 2012. January 2012. Hollywood's war propaganda by yours truly, Dr. Webster G. Tarpley, Ph.D. So let's not hear about free speech. Let's forget it. This is an inside job. This stinks to high heaven.